to load up the sales grid with the words in it. So these grids are available. They're currently being loaded to the Facebook group off Mark's phone, and they have been emailed out. And so this is just some information that I put together, and I talked with John Kennedy in New Zealand last year, and I am going to recommend for people, and if you naturally kind of do this, you know, to actually think about using this and this video content as training to help people who don't naturally have those skills, because you can have this grid laminated on your desk, and then we have a blank grid where you can fill in the information. And what I'd like to say is that if you're on a phone call or you're connecting with someone and you come back and you're only writing about 3 bits of information in the grid, that unless someone's like a really gut feeling purchaser and it's not coming together, you haven't built enough understanding, connection and value of the product. So today I'm going to present this specifically around getting preferred customers, and I'll just relate it to STEM Enhance Ultra, but of course it can be related to all the products and the skincare, and it can very much be related to the business. And actually this concept can be related to anywhere in your life when you're trying to come to a purchasing agreement, you know, with your partner, etc., about, you know, trying to find what it is you want that actually meets your needs. So if we come through it, yeah, it's one thing I want to say. It's not, these are all prompts and ideas. So I'm just going to talk about it, and just know that when I actually do this in person, it's kind of fluid and we might bounce around things, but by the end of it, I have a real picture of where someone's at, so that when they are ready to order. Oh, Sue Birch is saying it's very blurry. That's unfortunate. So I'm going to talk through it, and then I can flick you an email afterwards with the grids in it as well. That by the time I'm talking to someone at the end and they're saying that this is something that they're interested in, I know enough about where they're at and where they want to be in order for me to actually recommend things like a wellness pack. Because sometimes that's the other thing that happens, is someone gets someone all the way through to ordering and just goes, oh, why don't you just try 2 capsules a day? And, you know, they might be a 6'4", you know, a farmer who's been farming for decades and, you know, riddled with degeneration, and you need to be able to have enough content as well to go with that. Okay, so once you've made a connection with someone and they're ready to sort of talk about these products and their lives as a consumer, and that's a whole other thing as to how long that might actually take. You might plant seeds, etc. But once someone's wanting to talk about having the products in their life, it can be a really good idea to talk about what's going on in their life and what their concerns are. So these are the things that can be written down in the left-hand side of the grid. And it's just to prompt you to sort of get a real, you know, what else is going on and what else is going on in people's lives. And then there's the question here under evidence that we relate back to this list, saying, what do you see, feel, or hear that makes you believe this is a problem? Now, you don't necessarily say it kind of in those words. These are prompts, but it's like, oh, so how does this kind of turn up in your life? Oh, well, every time I go to get out of bed, you know, my feet are sore and I'm really stiff, etc. So that you're connecting the person with what they're talking about, you know, rather than someone just saying, oh, I think I've got joint issues. How do those joint issues turn up in their life? Because they might go, you know, I can't mow the lawns anymore. I can't drive certain vehicles. I can't play games with my grandchildren in the backyard, etc. So you're connecting them with actually how this turns up in their life and what the cost of that is in their life. Because when people can sort of see and take a moment to see the effect of something in their life, they're more likely to value an answer. You know, otherwise just going, oh, I think I've got joint issues, and you're going, oh, we've got stuff for joints, except, yeah, sure you get what I mean. And so the question underneath that is, what is the cost of this problem in your life? And so particularly with tradespeople, so we had carpet laid in a property that's getting sold last week, and I mean, I already have the carpet layer on a wellness pack, you know, because he's 35 years old, his knees are starting to go. And I talked to him about how does he kind of see the effect that this is going to have on his future. And he's like, well, Linda, really, I just thought I'd be a carpet layer forever, and I've been doing it for 15 years, but now how am I going to get to 50, let alone 65, etc.? So straight away he starts to see the cost of this problem. This problem could cost him having to go and study or develop a different line of work, etc., when really he's just he loves working for himself and just going out and transforming people's homes. And then I would have talked to him along the results. So I sort of said, you know, well, what would you be looking for? He said, I don't expect it necessarily all to go away. I know I've given my body a hard time, but I'd really like to sort of feel, you know, at the end of the day that I could still go to the gym, because he does a lot of upper body weight building work, etc., without my lower body giving out on me. So it's like, cool. So we know where he wants to head to. And how would you value that in your life? And so someone will then go, well, I actually feel like I would have my life back. And, you know, people will expand on that if they have had, you know, if they're not able to, you know, play with their grandchildren. If you can connect someone with, you know, potentially getting enough movement and reduced inflammation that they can play with their grandchildren, that to that person is possibly priceless. So that right all the way through here, we're handling and grooming someone towards something like a wellness pack, which of course I love, because it's getting enough product into someone for them to have an effect. And then coming up to the top of the chart, it says time, and it's written here. So if I could provide you a solution that solves this problem or helps with this problem, etc., targets this problem, when would you want to get started? So you in the moment might not use these words, but it's to remind you to sort of start asking for the sale and start to see when someone would want to get started. And I see myself kind of getting this into conversations with people, because for some people they might go, you know, I'm already, you know, committed to sort of taking something else, but I really feel like it's not working and I'm ready to transition. Or they might have had some particularly big bills, and people have often said to me things like, you know, actually I have good cash flow for this, but I actually don't have that cash flow for 6 weeks because, you know, I'm helping my daughter with the university fees or something like that. So you start sort of knowing that about the person already. So suddenly it doesn't become a reason why they don't come into the system, because you might just need to know that they're going to come into the system in 6 weeks' time. And it's a bit like what Ian was saying before, when he was talking about, you know, just getting people on the product, changing their lives, and then them going, hey, can I join you in your business? People just love that lack of pressure and love you connecting with them and knowing where they're at and just saying, you know, that's really cool. I know I've had that within some of my own conversations in the last week, where I know exactly where that person is at around timing now, and it's written in my diary, and I'm like, cool, I'll be contacting you about them. So kind of common sense, but if you're not allowing for that within your conversations, it can become the end of the ability of someone getting into the system, because you're not just reassuring them and giving them space to live their life and make their decisions. Right, and then around budget. So someone might kind of have a lot of attention on cost. So these are questions to sort of help you with that. So do you have a budget to work with on this problem? You know, yes or no, because someone might just go, well, yeah, I really know that I've only got such and such spare each month, okay? And then straight away you can reference that. You might sort of think, well, great, that's going to cover a couple of bottles of Stem Enhancer. Maybe we'll just have to leave something like Sciactic Joint or Plasma Flow for a bit. Or someone might go, actually no, because unfortunately for a lot of people, until they really value the product and the benefits of the product and what's going on in their body, they can just have this knee-jerk reaction around cost. And it's a really big issue in the Australian and New Zealand culture. I don't know how it is perhaps in other cultures, but it just becomes this knee-jerk thing. As soon as someone hasn't really kind of got what you're talking about and what you're offering, they'll just go, oh, the cost. And I have had people who are just, it's obvious they have ample sort of cash flow, but there's something they haven't quite understood, and that comes up there. So it's a matter of coming and working out what information, hasn't come together. And there's this lovely prompt here. If they want to know the cost of the solution, well, based on my experience, and this is something I do heaps, and I go, well, based on my experience, when you've had, this level of wear and tear going on in your body, and you've been working really hard, and now you're in your whatever age, 50s, 60s and 70s, really, there's quite a lot of catch up your body needs to do, eh? And then I kind of go, oh, yeah, you're right, Linda. It's, there's a bit of catch up needed. So I said, really, you need to take enough in order to mobilize the resources to help your body maintain its daily renewal and repair. And you're going to need a bit extra to help with the catch up. So what I found is that most adults do really well on 2 capsules twice a day. If you've got more going on than average, we make it 6. If you're in a pickle, we make it 9. And if you're munted, which is one of our special New Zealand terms, we'll make it 12. And I personally use this all the time, because straight away that person in front of me goes, yeah, definitely got more going on than average. Or they go, you know what, I am in a bit of a pickle, and they start deciding for themselves how much they're going to purchase. And they go, from what you've said, I really feel like I need to be on a few bottles a month, etc. And that's how a lot of that flows for me. And what I would say to people who aren't Linda Hoggard is to really reference myself or someone else that you've seen in the business, or a way that something is what we'd call edified, and refer to that person. So I have, most of my team would go, oh, well, we have a naturopath that's been involved heavily with these products since the original version. And what she would say is that most adults do really well on 2 capsules twice a day. If they have more going on than average, she makes it 6. If they're in a pickle, she makes it 9. And really, if they're munted, got a lot going on and need as much help as quickly as possible, she'll start low and build them up to 12 a day. And that works brilliantly, because the product always needs understanding and edification. And so our scientists like Gita Jensen help really land that, and you can outsource to that and use the harvest video, etc. And then when we're talking about serving suggestions, you can say, well, this is what I've learned from someone who's really experienced. And straight away, you just have to become the messenger. You have to get enough information, bring it all together, and then kind of get someone in the system, preferably on Autoship, because really it's all about Autoship. John Kennedy has a fantastic saying around Autoship, and I think it's quoted in the Success Planner. And really, when you think about it, the success of getting the resources into your body and seeing some of those long-term benefits of the products, you land that on Autoship. And when you're looking at creating an independent income from this product, a lot of that is definitely all added on Autoship, that you just know every month that there's the standard amount of volume coming through your business. And it's up to you to create that and create that culture. Because if your IBOs see you just going, oh, well, if you don't want to commit, just buy a couple of bottles, etc. If that's that culture that you create, they're just going to repeat it. So I see in my business, I hear people saying to me, well, I know you wouldn't just let them do that. So I really held to my ground and kind of reinforce the benefits for them with this product and the amount to take, and really ask them to commit to 6 to 8 months. So not only just asking for the sale, but also asking for the commitment. I've got one more box. Okay, so it's around decision making. So this doesn't always kind of come up, but you can see sometimes people, they're quite keen, but they're dancing around, and it can be helping them to actually make the decision. So there's some prompts here like help me understand how you make decisions. So I see sometimes when I'm purchasing, particularly around nutritionals, I make decisions off my gut feeling. It's exactly what happened when I first saw the original Stem Enhance. I just had a really good gut feeling, and I needed to have my own experiences, and then my mind had time to watch video content and read things and catch up. But not everybody is like that. And then, so that question can help you see that, because someone might just go, I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just never seem to be able to commit to something until I have all the information. So right there, you've got what we would call like a green personality, and you know exactly what you need to do. You need to find out what type of information they're looking for. Do they need to eyeball the published research article, etc.? Do they just really need to see the product fact sheets, etc., and get that through to them, and then follow up and then ask for the sale? Other questions there are, what is your decision-making process? Because we've just covered that. How do you make decisions? And then this is often the issue of someone's dancing around. Are you the decision maker? Because if you're talking to someone that runs their lives in a partnership and no financial purchase decisions are made unless the other partner is involved, then you kind of need to know that. And then it lets you know that perhaps you need to talk to the partner or provide information for the partner. So I guess I would then kind of go, do you think, your partner would like to kind of speak to me, or is it that they just want to, what is it that you think that they would want to check out? And then you can provide that, rather than getting all the way to the person's really keen, and because they don't have the full financial decision-making abilities, losing it there. There you know exactly where you're at, and you can progress from there. Yeah, and with that, what is your process? Who is involved? And there's a key prompt down the bottom. Are you serious about solving this issue? And it might not be how you term it in relationship to the products and things, but really, yeah, are you serious about giving this a good go, taking enough for your body where it's at, and committing to long enough, is how I see myself saying this. And I probably, I reckon I have that in every time I put someone into the system, because I really don't like seeing people having unrealistic expectations around the most remarkable product I've ever seen, because something that they expect to happen hasn't happened in a couple of months. So you've got to manage those expectations and not create those expectations in someone, and make it relative to them and their own journey. And I think the most duplicatable way of doing that is talking about the serving suggestion mantra and getting people to commit for 6 to 8 months. Right. So I've come to the end of that. So you could imagine, Mark, do you want to just flick up the blank grid? The blank grid just looks like that. So that's something, if in your own journey with connecting with people, if you just really feel like you need to collect your ideas and have some prompts in front of you so that you get enough information about someone, I recommend printing these out, having the prompts laminated, and then you can actually use this blank grid in order to collect information about people and keep that in their file. So I hope that potentially helps. As I say, it might not be a matter of taking on the whole thing, but there might just be parts of it that you can really see in your own journey would help you connect the dots. So I'm just going to open up for any comments from Ian Davies, and then we're going to do a little role play.
Yeah, well, Linda, that is lots of really, really good content to cover all the different angles and how people think, their psychology, because to me, there's not really an objection. We just have to educate them to the value of this and what's going on and the benefit. And when we do that, then the objections all go away, in a realistic way, so they know what to expect.
Yes,
wonderful.
exactly. And I think I just forgot there was another note I made that I was talking to Mark Anderson about this morning. And when he was looking at it, he said, this must be really good for preventing buyer's remorse. So you might have had experiences where people like, they're all go, yep, I'm on that wellness pack. I'm on there for 6 months before we discuss any changes, sort of thing. And then, I don't know, days, a week later or something, then they go into some of the kind of objections and doubt around, really, are they investing in something that is of high value, etc. And so the process helps prevent that as well. Any other comments in general, Ian?
Yeah, wonderful. And to me, the values off the chart. I find some people are slow responders, and there are some people who are fast responders, and there are some people you can run them over with a truck, and they may not feel that either. And for those people, I let them know, look, a lot of people get a weak heart muscle. They never felt it until the day they had a heart attack. And often when your body regenerates, it can be the same. And the most valuable thing we can do to keep our body healthy and strong so we don't get the heart attack or other things is stem cells more than anything else. And I just educate people, and a lot of people think, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I might Jan Laddie just put up a question here, which I think is kind of relevant to where we are in our discussion. So it says, Jan says, what if the blank sheet was slightly reworded so that it becomes a questionnaire that the prospect fills in for themselves? Would this increase the buying and their ownership? So in some ways, I know that I function very much how I function, and I'm a real people person, and part of my success is really the ability to connect with someone. So if I suddenly, hand someone a sheet of paper and says, just fill this out and work it out for yourself, I haven't got to listen to them, I haven't got to connect with them, and I haven't got to be able to ask some of the other questions from parts of the grid when it's relevant, so I can sit here and build the whole picture. And so you probably think I've probably got lots else to say about that, Jan, as well, around the fact that your sort of mind actually goes into just, wanting to turn it into a third-party resource rather than really letting it prompt you to build and create that connection, because there's some real mantras in this business, and there are things like fortunes in the follow-up, and it's all about the relationship. And the more that you can connect, hear, and understand someone, well, there's a relationship, and it's a really rewarding way to be and turn up in the world. So I think Ian might have something to say about that.
No, absolutely. The greatest of all human needs to need to feel connected. And again, with that conversation with that fellow in Florida, I just connected to him as a human being, and he really got. I'm here to serve him, and whatever that means for him, that's what it means for me. I'm not trying to ram anything down his throat, but we have something so spectacular and special here. It cannot help but serve him, but at the same time, he knows my spirit is looking out for him. And when people feel that, they think, wow, this is so different. It's low pressure. And to me, everything flows into low pressure. High pressure pushes everything away. And to me, low pressure is where it's at.
The Ian Davies meteorological theory of sales. I like it. Thank you. Bye-bye.